This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Better.
Well said. Fantastic.
If you want the message, you go to the source.
Direct.
If you want power, you go to power people. Karibu sana Neri.
Asante.
Charles.
Okay, so Karibu Sana, thank you for coming. Look, so let's talk about it. First of all, so what exactly do you do? And let's talk about batteries. We're talking about power, but exactly what do you do?
All right. Thanks. My name is Charles Ngare. I lead the team at Chloride Exide. I'm the general manager. I've been doing this. I've been in the trade for about, in practice for about 17 years, 10 of which have been with Chloride Exide. So I would consider myself a subject matter expert when it comes to matters batteries. I am a believer that you should know your merchandise. Yeah. So if you're selling batteries, you need to have an interest in batteries. If you're selling anything else, you need to have an interest in it. So I'm a lover of cars, an enthusiast, keen on having conversations on batteries, and that's why I'm here. Chloride Exide, maybe I can just say something about it. Like Dennis said, we've been here since 1963. Every year the country turns a year older. We also turn a year older. So we've been doing this for quite a long time. We're the only local manufacturer of lead-acid batteries in Kenya, with a staff complement of about 1,000 people, and selling our batteries to like 50% of our production to Kenya and the rest across the African continent. We go as far north as Ghana and also as far west, as far south as Zimbabwe, and serving East and Central Africa, where we have about 17, we're serving about 17 countries. We also support quite a number of SMEs in the region. We have about 6,000 resellers within the African continent who buy our batteries and sell them on to final consumers.
Yeah. You know, when you talk about batteries, right? Everybody thinks about it's just there for chong and move, right? And you look at the history of vehicles. Now you start from the days of carburetor. Nowadays you talk about inline six, direct injection. All that has changed over time. But how has that changed then battery technology as we speak today?
All right. Vehicles are doing more, so the battery has to do more. We are saying that vehicles nowadays are basically computers on wheels. Like you said, Dennis, back in the day, all a battery had to do was start, light, and ignite your car. But nowadays, we're seeing cars whose technology has significantly changed. Vehicles coming with advanced driver assist systems, like you explained earlier, whereby you would be you'd be departing from your you'd lose concentration and you start departing from your lane, and it has a lane departure warning where it pushes you back to your lane. Yeah, you have a blind spot assist. You are not concentrating. You've decided to overtake. There's an oncoming car. It pushes you back to your lane. Basically safety features. And you also spoke about massage seats, seat warmers and all that. So vehicles nowadays are basically computers on wheels. They're constantly watching the road, thinking, pinging the battery to see what's happening in there. So if they're doing more, battery technology has had to evolve to be able to do more. Yeah, and that's why I'm here to have that conversation.
What kind of evolving have batteries gone through over time? Because back in the days, tafuta maji acid ongeza itachemka, you move. Or you go to that charging master at the mtaa who's the superstar, charge it there and bring it back. How has it morphed to where then it can handle the computers on wheels today?
All right. So traditionally, we started with what we called vented batteries. Those are the batteries that required regular maintenance. You'd go to a petrol station, they would tell you, can we check your battery? They would open it up, top it up with deionized water. Then we moved away from that to something more convenient, less maintenance, and that's the maintenance free, whereby you just fitted it and forgot about it. But that was still serving standard vehicles with standard systems, electrical loads. So as vehicles transitioned, and one thing I forgot to mention that is an important addition to vehicle technology today is actually a system called start-stop system. Yeah, start-stop systems have actually come in for emissions controls. You know, whatever we hear happening in the COP27, COP28, people agreeing to reduce emission standards. Most of the people who are affected are actually auto manufacturers. So they brought in these start-stop systems whereby they are trying to reduce the emissions that their vehicles produce. So when you get into traffic or you get to a complete halt, depress the brake, the vehicle switches off. Yeah. Then when you take your foot off the brake, it switches on again. So such technology has actually created a requirement for a stronger battery. So when we moved from vented to MF could not handle all these demands to a battery. Like I said, there are only two things that power a car. Yeah, it's the fuel and the battery. So for the battery to be able to handle this, in came two technologies, one called enhanced flooded battery, which is an EFB, and the other one called absorbent glass mat, which is AGM. So EFB batteries came in to handle vehicles with moderate start-stop systems and moderate driver assist systems, basically entry-level cars. Yeah, so it's a higher tire battery with twice the cycle life of a standard maintenance-free battery. Then the AGM battery came in to handle cars, basically premium cars with advanced driver assist systems, higher-end electronics, and it has 4 times the cycle life of a standard battery. The one main differentiator between, as much as all these batteries look alike, yeah, if you were to compare them, the main differentiator between an AGM batteries and the rest is an AGM battery, unlike what we've traditionally known batteries to have inside, that is the diluted liquid electrolyte, the acid.
Yes.
This one, if you were to open it, nothing, if you were to crack it open, nothing would pour out. So the acid is actually contained within the glass mat, as the name suggests, which is a blanket enveloping each and every plate within the battery. So it's more or less dry in its outlook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so things have changed. So you don't have to worry about the things that you had to deal with before, right, as concerns the battery. So in terms of what your vehicle can do, has that changed, or we're looking at an optimal level of performance as a result of this battery?
Yes, your vehicle has definitely changed. When we talk about start-stop systems, over and above emissions, it also reduces on fuel consumption. So you are saying that vehicles are now getting more powerful engines, but the engines are smaller. And also, due to this start-stop system where when you're idling the car, you're not consuming any fuel, your fuel consumption has significantly reduced. Also comes in the comfort features. When you talk about advanced driver assist systems, in there are comfort features and safety features. So all these are being powered by the car, and it's basically extras that we get within the vehicle. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you not have to worry about when you have this battery in your vehicle?
All right, I'll give you a story and we'll go. A buddy of mine came in with a Mercedes. His battery had gotten to the end of its end of life. Yeah. And we got there, we checked whatever battery had been fitted before, and we told him, unfortunately, the battery you're using is actually not the right battery for your car. So we told him, your car actually requires an AGM battery. Like we said, most premium cars, especially vehicles from Europe, require AGM batteries. Exactly. When we fitted in the right battery, he called me in the evening and told me, oh my God, I've just realized my car has features I did not know it has. For example, when I depress the brake, the car switches off. He didn't know his car had start-stop system because he had bought the car off someone who'd fitted the wrong battery.
Okay.
His sunroof, which he had gotten various mechanics to try and fix, automatically started working. What normally happens is that if you fit the wrong battery, at times the car may work. The car may work. It will start. It will ignite. It will light. Basically the basic systems of a battery. But there are certain advanced systems that are going to be switched off by this car, yeah, because it's constantly. Most of these cars nowadays have a battery management system that is constantly pinging the battery, and if it says that you fit in the wrong battery, it deactivates most of these, comfort and safety features. So, Nduko, that's what would go wrong.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk about these premium vehicles that we talk about today, with all the safety features, so eyesight technology that looks at in terms of collision, you equally have to look at the performance because, hey, I'm spinning a 4-liter. I must perform. I must get in Mombasa to Mombasa in 4 hours.
Where?
NTSA, please, msimpige simu. But you need your vehicle to equally perform.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing you say is, if you have a bad battery that is not suitable to your vehicle, then you get into limp mode.
Yeah.
That means you, as a driver, you are unable to enjoy the services or facilities that come with your vehicle.
Yeah.
So then, as a driver, where perhaps what I know how to do is to buy a good car, but I never think about a battery. How should we go about it? How would I tell that, hey, battery nimekuja nayo ni ya kadudu?
All right. That's why we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
We realize it's our responsibility as Chloride Exide, being the biggest player in the market, to actually go out and educate people that, things have changed, and this is how you need to go about choosing your battery. So traditionally, people would choose batteries based on engine size. I have a Kadudu. It's below 1500 cc. It's a certain size. If it's above, we go something higher. So right now, you've got to identify, does my car have all these newer features that demand a stronger battery? Does it have a start-stop system? And it's important that I differentiate start-stop systems from keyless entry, because most people actually do confuse the two. So start-stop system is what I described before.
You're already in motion.
You're already in motion. You depress the brake without turning off the key, it goes off. Keyless entry, which is normally a button written start-stop on the dashboard, is basically just
kibonyezo.
It's keyless ignition, basically. Yeah. So if your car has start-stop systems, and you can see that it's much more advanced, it's like a computer on wheels, then ideally a standard battery cannot work. And if you fit in a standard battery, there are quite a number of things that could go wrong. We spoke about, the guy whose start-stop system was not working, so he wasn't saving fuel. We spoke about his sunroof not working. I visited one of our branches in Eldoret, and in came two mechanics with a new Toyota Harrier. It was a hybrid Toyota Harrier, which required an EFB battery. So
AFB was what again?
Enhanced flooded battery.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a newer technology of batteries for vehicles with start-stop systems.
Okay.
So they had fit in the right battery, Dennis.
Yes.
Yeah, but the Christmas trees on the dashboard were still there.
Every light on the dashboard.
Yeah. So they come and say, this car had a battery light before we changed the battery. We've changed the battery. It still has the battery light, among other lights. They had opened up the dashboard. Yeah. It's those guys we call Kawaya. Yeah. They had opened up the dashboard. The only thing they hadn't done, and by the way, they had fit in the right battery. They had actually been advised that you need an EFB battery, and that had been sold to them. But vehicles nowadays, in this whole complication, fitting the battery is not the standard way we used to fit. Take one out, put another one in. You've got to register that battery using the OBD2 diagnostic tool. Yeah, what we call computers. Yeah. So that's the only thing they hadn't done. Yeah. So when the battery management system that I was talking about was pinging this battery, it could tell that this battery seems to be different from what was there before. Yeah. Most people ask me, if it's a computer, shouldn't it be intelligent enough to know that this is a new battery that has been fit in, and hence I should clear out all these lights and reprogram myself to that. But remember, these are softwares that are communicating. Yeah. As a battery gets to end of life, it has less. It stores less energy because there's lots of resistance in there. So as that battery management system, which is a computer, constantly pings that battery, it actually reduces the performance of your electrical loads in the car to match the capacity of that older battery. And one way to verify is if you have a higher end car, when you have a new battery, you can go park and chill and listen to music for like 4 hours.
And it won't die on you.
And it won't die on you. As it gets older, these newer cars reduce that time you're listening to music. It reduces to 2 hours, it reduces to 1 hour, reduces to 30 minutes.
Reduces to I can't play.
Yeah, reduces to I can't play. If you see that happening, just know your battery is almost getting to end of life. So when you fit a new battery, the reason you have to register, you have to tell it, now reset all these electronics because I have a new battery that is capable of handling what you've got.
That goes to show that buying a battery today is not like walking at a supermarket and picking it and just go. That means even now that we're talking about dial a battery is because whoever is coming in, first of all, would be able to advise you if you're having the correct battery. And when it is setting up in terms of scanning, OBD tool, they are able to do that and assure you that you are good to go.
Yeah.
That is a facility that you have. And how has that then become a change maker in the industry?
So we've got to be the experts in town. Yeah. We have about 74% market share. Yeah. And we thank people that they've trusted us over time. Most of our batteries, they're batteries that probably you've observed your dad use, change in his car. So as a change maker, if you're an expert in town, you've got to have the tools. You've got to come to a conversation like this and tell people, this is what you need to look out for. This is how things are changing. This is how we need to do things differently. So it's basically to build confidence to people that as much as, yes, there is complications in the way in which batteries need to be changed, it is still doable. There is someone who can come and sort you out, and that's where Dial a Battery comes in. You call us. There will be someone at the end of the line who is advising you that this vehicle make and model and this year of manufacture requires this battery, which is different from, which is a different technology from any other that is out there. Yes, it may be slightly expensive, but the value, our value proposition is, what we said before. An EFB battery will last you twice as long, but we're not going to charge you twice as much. An AGM battery is going to last you 4 times longer than a standard battery, but we're not going to charge you 4 times as much. Yeah. So that kind of expertise and will build trust to people that we actually know what you're doing, and the battery that we give you will actually do work for you.
So, nowadays you go to the internet all the time and you say, okay, I want to buy this particular thing. What are the things that I should be looking out for to ensure that this is the thing? What would you say that would be about a battery when you're saying with the chloride oxide battery, these are the 1, 2, 3, 4 things that I should look out for? And if it ticks the boxes, then we say we are going for it. So
it's actually a smart move to go to the internet and check out your car and see what battery it requires, because that makes you also, you're basically able to challenge an expert or challenge someone who's not an expert, because quite a number of people buy batteries from their or ask their mechanics to advise when they're buying batteries or resellers. So when you know that my car requires this, you're able to ask the right questions. If someone misadvises you, you're able to challenge them. Yeah. So the things that you need to ask is, do you, for example, have a battery that is suited for a vehicle with start-stop technology? Do you have a battery that is suited for a vehicle, yes, with start-stop technology, but with more driver assist systems? Multiple cameras, adaptive cruise control, and all that. Yeah, and the good thing is that at Chloride we do have that. That's why we have introduced the Exide premium range of batteries, which starts from superior maintenance free, to EFB to AGM, to cater for anyone who would have any type of car that requires a lead acid starter battery in this market. So we cater for people with hybrid vehicles for their lead acid batteries, and even people with electric vehicles for their lead acid batteries, because even electric vehicles, full electric vehicles, still require a lead acid 12-volt battery. So a number of people usually ask me, do you think you're going to go out of business because of electrification of cars? The answer is no, because there is only one proven technology that is safe, that can power your electrical loads in the car, and that's a lead acid battery. The lithium batteries in vehicles, which we call traction batteries, are high voltage. Those ones power the traction, the movement of the vehicle.
So it sounds a lot of this is newer technology than what people were used to previously. So what if you have an older vehicle? Because we're talking about hybrid vehicles, electric vehicles, which are 10, 15 years old, right?
Yeah.
What if you have an older vehicle model and you're getting into the party and you want to have one of these newer batteries in your vehicle? Are they compatible, or are we saying, sorry, folks, you have to buy a new car?
So, how I'd put it, if you have an older vehicle, we have batteries for that vehicle, which are the standard batteries, and those are the ones we would recommend. However, there are people who normally say, I consider myself middle class, upper class. I have an older car, but I want a battery that lasts longer. Within the Exide stable, we have what we call the Exide Superior Maintenance-Free Battery. It's a class above the standard maintenance-free battery, and it also comes in with whereas for the standard batteries we're giving you 12 months warranty. This one comes with 18 months warranty. It has better, its build quality is suited better for, deeper use, people who've fitted in infotainment systems. Yes, you have an older car, but you've put in a screen, a Tesla screen, among other things. So there's a battery that would be able to give you longer life when your loads are also higher.
We talk about start-stop braking system and how those are critical in modern day movement, pretty much, of motor vehicles. But then again, there is the aspect where today I've gone to buy a battery. Chloride Exide is my brand, but then again, it's a point of contention in terms of fakes that are also in the market. So I want to verify that this is a true battery, because I also don't want to waste my time with the battery that is not working. So perhaps security features then that every other motorist out there can just look at, if it's scanning QR code. How do we go about that, so that I'm sure I am not buying fakes in the market?
All right. So we about a year ago introduced a digital warranty activation tool. In the past, if you bought our battery, you'd get a card, that tells you have 12 months warranty, 18 months warranty. But now we've introduced a digital warranty activation tool, whereby there is a QR code and a USSD for people without smartphones. You can scan the QR code. The battery serial number is going to appear there, and you register your details, and that tells you of the authenticity of the battery. We also only sell our batteries through authorized dealers across the country. So you are able to verify that someone is an authorized dealer. If you're in doubt, you can call us. The same number that we gave out for dial a battery is the same number we use for our contact center. And we're able to tell you that, yes, that is an authorized dealer and they represent us. But for all those authorized dealers, we also normally have branded them as authorized dealers of Chloride Exide.
So the number here is 0719 080 000. Do I say it in Swahili? 0719 080
Sufuri all the way. Okay. Let's take a quick break and see what's happening on the roads, actually, and let's power our way through traffic with Chloride. We'll be back in a minute.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
consistent. We've been consistent in our availing the product in the market.
Yeah.
We have about 27 branches across East Africa, and all these branches are areas where you can get our product for transporters who move around. They can be able to access our batteries in Uganda, Tanzania, and across East Africa. The other one is quality. Yeah, we've been consistent in quality. Our batteries are produced to global manufacturing, the highest global manufacturing standards, and also the same confirmed by the local standard bodies. The X-Side range also promises you 18 months warranty, and that's the highest within the region. Yeah. So promising you 18 months warranty is basically testament to the trust that we've given to the product and the way in which it has been constructed. Yeah.
So today, there's a question that has been asked by Chris. Chris is asking, today I'm going to buy a battery. How old should a battery be from the manufacturers for me to get a good deal? So date of manufacturer's expiry date, does that exist? So which is the best time to buy a battery?
All right. Batteries can last you even a year still on the shelf when they're still in good shape. Yeah. What we normally advise, and this is something that is practiced across our authorized dealer base and also on our shops. Every 4 months, we normally top up these batteries with charge so that they do not sulfate. I think most of us who drive vehicles have been told by their mechanics that the reason your battery died is because you parked your car for too long without using it. And what normally happens is the battery sulfates. Yeah. So even when a battery is on the shelf, it can sulfate because all battery types, even lithium batteries, have something we call self-discharge. So to prevent that, every 4 months we normally top up. So I would encourage him to buy a battery as long as it's within 1 year from the date of manufacturing.
1 year from the date of manufacturing. And you've brought in something that is critical, where you find someone traveled outside the country, no longer using the car, and there is no one to start it. But in other jurisdictions as well, so if I know in her LX570, there is something called a trickle charger, that you then just connect it to the battery so that when you're away, at least it keeps on moving. So, I mean, this is information that many out here do not know. Because I know of someone who has parked their vehicle for close to 5 years now.
Yeah.
Close to 5 years. And as much as it's chonging asubuhi so that it warms up, right? At the end of the day, it would not perform to its full capacity because the vehicle is just stationary. So in terms of this information out there on even taking care of our batteries, right? Do you reckon Kenyans, do we know how to take care of our batteries as consumers? Ama tunangojanga siku ya service?
I think batteries are the most ignored element in a vehicle.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that you're talking about a trickle charger. Not very many people know about trickle chargers. We have car yards that have vehicles that stay in car yards for a very long time, but they've never heard about a trickle charger. Yeah, but I think as Kenyans, the reason the trickle charger technology has not caught on, it's because you require to connect a trickle charger to an electrical socket.
Yes.
And most Kenyans do not have garages.
But see, you tell us what a trickle charger is in the first place.
Come on,
Then you
charger,
can move.
So a trickle charger, it's a simple device that actually looks like a phone charger that you connect to an electrical socket, and you connect its clips onto the terminals of the battery. So it basically maintains the battery at it's constantly tricking charge into the battery to maintain it at full charge, so that it doesn't sulfate. Yeah.
Okay. Carry on.
Yeah. So, like your buddy who you're saying has parked his car for 5 years. The reality is that constantly switching it on probably every morning to idle, warm up, will probably just maybe sort out the engine, not to have sludge and all that, but it won't do anything to the battery. Because for a battery to charge and for an alternator to work effectively, they start working at a rev when the rev counter gets to about 2,000 RPM. So on idling, it doesn't work. The other thing that most people do is that they say if you're traveling for long, disconnect your terminals from the battery. However, all batteries, like I said, have something we call self-discharge, be it lithium, be it lead acid. So disconnecting still does not protect the battery from sulfating. You would require a trickle charger.
Yeah. You know, there are times when someone goes to a garage and you look at the battery, and it looks like it was having a shower in a river. It just turned white at the terminals, you know. And the most a mechanic does is take that pliers, hit the terminals, clean it up, connect, and go.
It's starting again, yeah.
What does that do to the overall performance of the vehicle and also just the longevity of the battery? Because clearly when you're seeing the thing is sulfating, there is a problem. But what do? Heat it, clean it up with a wire brush and go.
So we normally call that oxidation of the terminals. And yes, it affects the life of the battery. First of all, a way in which it can affect is that it creates a resistance between the terminal clips and the terminal itself. So you may find your battery is not charging optimally. So if your battery is not charging optimally, its charge levels go down. And like I said, any battery, when the charge levels go down, it starts oxidizing. So you may have a battery, you are using it on a daily basis, but it's sulfating inside because it's not being charged effectively. Then the practice of people hammering terminals, you know, when they're changing, is actually a habit that we discourage. And the reason is the terminal holds the cells inside the battery. You know, it's welded to the cells inside the battery. The mechanical hammering at times causes the cells to break off from the terminal itself inside. So you find someone after a while says the battery died. You open up the battery, you find the bar that normally holds the cells together has broken.
So they're the ones who killed their battery.
Actually, there's one of the faults that we normally do not replace on warranty is mechanical damage of the battery cells.
And that's caused by this thing that you speak
the
of.
Hammering.
The hammering.
And
then how come it works? I mean, we hammer everything all the time. The remote is not working, bang it on the table a couple of times. The battery is not moving, it's cold in the morning. Somebody comes with the pliers, bang, bang the thing, and it works.
At times you get away with it. But at times you hammer it so hard you do not get away with it.
And I think this is information that Kenyans need to know, you know, because at the end of the day, I would buy it and with the promise of 18 months warranty, but forgetting that responsibility as well is on me to take care of that battery, that if I have that mechanical damage, then that 18-month warranty is void because nimi nimeharibu. But there is this thing that we usually do. I've gone to a car wash, I have parked, osha kila mahali, you know, and you find the individual with the pressure washer, you know, that thing is washed proper. It's washed proper as if it's going for a wedding that morning, you know.
Wow, okay.
Proper. Does that affect the battery in terms of its connections because it's water and the battery power na maji azikutani?
Fortunately, no, it doesn't affect because the way in which you know, the terminals are separated, unless you dip it in water and to a point where it causes a short, a short circuit. What normally happens is for people who wash their engines without, you know, protecting certain fuses and all that, those are the ones that short circuit, but the battery will remain intact.
So let's look at, because we can have this conversation, but let's look at common things that are done every day. Everybody and their uncle has jumper cables in their car. Everyone. If you don't, there's something wrong with you. What does jump-starting because you're not jump-starting your car, you're jump-starting your battery. What does that do to the life of a battery? And is it okay for us to continue doing this thing?
Different people say different things about it or interpret it differently. For a company that sells battery, I would say do not jump-start. Go and buy a new battery. However, you will never leave someone who's stranded on the road, or your neighbor who's stranded and wants you to jump-start them. Maybe they just want to be jump-started that day and they go and buy a battery. What we normally recommend, all batteries have something we call cold cranking amperes, because for you to crank a car, there's a big electrical surge energy required to start to the starter motor to turn that engine. So for smaller cars, they require smaller current.
Okay.
Bigger cars, especially diesel cars, require larger current, and that's why you see that called cranking amperes, because ampere is current. For smaller batteries, you'll see something like 300. Then for bigger batteries, for SUVs, you see something like 700. And for trailers, you'll see 1,000. That's the maximum current that battery can do. So if you have a small car, you have a Kadudu, you have a Vitz, and you try jump starting someone with a VX, it's going to cook that battery. So you can't do that.
So we shouldn't do it again?
Yeah, but
So you must
from
find your
a
mate.
bigger car, you can jump start a smaller car.
Yeah.
But a smaller car can jump start a bigger
A
car.
bigger car. You know, and then Ndu is laughing because, you know, it's because a Dudu can't jumpstart LX 570, right?
Yeah.
Because the Dudu will be fried.
Yeah.
But a Dudu and a Dudu can jumpstart each other.
Jumpstart each other.
See, you need to find your mate. Play in your league, man. Play in your league. But again, when it comes to jumpstarting, so there are different ways where this is done. So there is what we're used to, it's positive and negative, right?
Yeah.
There are those who equally say you do positive and the ground. Americans love saying you do positive and the ground. Which is which?
I've actually not encountered that positive in the ground. I'll go and read up about it because it sounds interesting. For us, it's just positive.
Positive, negative. Okay. So.
And also, there's an art to doing it. Yeah. If you ever see you connect, let's say you're even replacing a battery, you decided to do it yourself. If you ever see a spark, that means you've connected that battery wrongly. Yeah. So when you're disconnecting a battery, and actually a spark will lead to a short circuit of a fuse somewhere, and you may find your dashboard go blank and all that. What we normally recommend, the right way to disconnect a battery is take out the negative first before taking out the positive, because the positive is where the power rests. If you take out the positive, as you try and wiggle it out, it will spark. But if you take out the negative and the circuit is broken, you can now take out the positive. Then when you're fitting it in, it's the opposite. You fit in the positive first, then you follow up with the negative. So in jump starting, it's the same thing. Yeah. Do not complete the circuit with the positive. Yeah. So do not complete the circuit with the positive because it's going to create to a short circuit. So connect the positives first before connecting the negatives.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to not do that. Yikes. So when a battery is gone, a battery's died, you've left the light on, you've left the light on, or maybe you've left the radio playing for whatever reason, it drains.
Yeah.
One would imagine that it's because of that activity that you've left. So what you need is for it to jumpstart and then essentially recharge itself.
Yeah.
So these batteries that we're talking about now this morning with chloride oxide, are those self-charging batteries so long as it continues to run? Or are we saying that it's going to run for its life and then when it's done, it's done?
So you're right. The moment you jumpstart, if for example the reason you need jump starting is because you left lights on, yeah, that means that battery still has life. So you're required to jumpstart it. Then go on a trip somewhere, a few minutes of driving for the alternator to start recharging the battery. Yeah. Sorry, I have missed your question. What was the second part?
So is it not okay that you can just jumpstart and then it continues to recharge itself? And are these batteries that we're talking about today the ones that will be in recharge mode so long as the thing is moving and you don't do the thing where you leave the radio on or the lights on?
Yeah. So yes, the moment you jumpstart, the alternator will pick up as long as you're using the car and it's going to recharge. Now the batteries we're talking about today, the X-side range of batteries, especially the technology EFB and AGM, since they've been designed for vehicles with start-stop technology, where that battery is constantly being used, even when the car is not charging. Like in start-stop, for start-stop technology, the moment the car switches itself off in traffic, it does not switch off for you your AC, your radio, all those continue running. So the state of charge for that battery actually goes lower than a typical battery whose engine is still running would get to. So these batteries, the EFP and AGM, have been designed in a way in which they have fast charging capabilities.
Okay.
Yeah. So unlike a standard MF battery that would take a bit longer and requires the car to be driven longer for it to recharge, these two technologies will recharge faster. Yeah. And they've also been designed in a way in which they can operate with a partial state of charge. Yeah.
So I have my vehicle, I'm away, someone comes with their vehicle, has an alternator problem, takes my battery, because me siko nimemwazima battery. I don't know if that's good behavior. You can tell us about it. But how does a faulty alternator affect the battery, or does it just affect the vehicle?
So kuwazima battery, I do not think it's a good behavior because, like you said, you do not know whether he has a faulty alternator. So you give him, he goes, depletes your battery fully. There are certain states of charge where you can get a battery to, and it's unable to pick up charge again. Yeah. So I would say do not assume someone your battery.
Buy your own.
But buy your own. Call Dell Battery. They're going to deliver. They're going to come with actually a battery diagnostic tool, which and they're going to be able to check for you, does your car have a battery charging issue? Is your alternator faulty? And they're going to tell you, we actually will not sell you this battery that we brought. You go fix your alternator. Your battery is okay, only that the state of charge has gone down. So a faulty alternator will affect the battery. Ideally, it has already affected the car because it's part of the car. So it will affect the battery. You may find, and a faulty alternator does not mean only an alternator that is not charging. It can be an alternator that is overcharging. Overcharging also affects batteries negatively. It basically pumps them, just like those fake phone chargers that make our phones heat up
to 104%.
Yeah. It's the same thing that happens to your car battery.
So does your battery bulge?
It heats up to the point of bulging and losing the electrolyte inside, the acid inside. Then under charging, you may find that your alternator is not charging effectively, so it's constantly undercharging your battery. Like we said, a battery that is not at 100% state of charge constantly will start sulfating. So you're using your car, but your battery is dying and you do not know. And one of the things that we normally see are these guys who go and fit in, music systems in their vehicles. So you have a Vitz, you've put in big speakers, all that.
Naitwa debe. Funga debe.
Yeah, mefunga debe. Then you say, so that I can park and chill and listen to music longer, I'm going to fit in a bigger battery. So they go and dismantle the battery tray, fit in a battery that is meant for an SUV. The one thing they do not do, most of them, is that they also do not change the alternator. Every alternator is designed to charge a specific battery. So if you do that, that alternator will never fill up that bigger battery. So that battery will start sulfating, similar to just parking your car and leaving it.
You've raised something that is very critical. Your vehicle comes with standard music system. You decided to funga debe and everything is in there that then draws more power from your battery. What's the advice? Because me nataka debe anyway. How do you go about it? So is it to a point where then, if I'm buying a new battery and umekuja umepata niko na debe, then the advice would be perhaps for you to get maximum performance, you need to change your alternator to compensate for what it is you're losing because of the debe that you have.
Yeah. So if you are upgrading your music system, you're basically modifying your car. Those are mods.
Yes.
So if you're doing mods, do mods for everything, even the power systems of the car, which is the alternator. Improve it to be able to offer a charging current that is going to match this new battery that you want to fit in.
Okay, so last one. How do you know when it's time to call one 800 dial a battery. How do you know when it's time to dial the battery for you to get a new one? What are the signs or symptoms of its time?
Unfortunately for older cars, most of the times it's died on you. You know, you're in charge. You got there. When you leave, it won't switch on.
And it's raining.
Yeah. However, for modern cars, there are signs and symptoms. For example, a car with start-stop technology, the battery, most of them come fitted with a battery management system. And this battery management system, like I said, is constantly pinging this battery. So it's able to tell you the state of health and the state of charge. When the state of health gets to a low percentage, you know, something like 50%, it's time for you to change your battery, because it will also restrict some of the things that you were previously enjoying in this car. Yeah. So those are some of the symptoms that you'd look at. It's reduced the time it gives you for listening to music. Yeah,
My lumbar support is gone.
Yeah, you know,
You'll notice some of these things you're not there.
yeah. At times, the moment you start noticing some of the vehicle electronics have started misbehaving, get someone to test the battery for you.
Okay.
Yeah, and we actually do free battery testing across all our branches in the country. So you can always pull up into a chloride exide outlet. We are going to service the battery for you. We are going to tell you whether your charging system is working okay, and it's all done for free.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What's that number again that we can call?
0719
080
000.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Charles Ngare is the General Manager, Chloride Exide, has been with us this morning, just going through a lot of these things, refreshing our memory, refreshing our minds about what we can do to power up our journey. Thank you for being here this morning. Asante sana. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for being in the Situation Room. This Thursday, it's 10 a.m.
The latest